All right, welcome back. We have our State House Insiders with us tonight. Antoine Seawright, our Democratic strategist, Dave Wilson, our Republican strategist. Guys, it's been a while. Welcome back.
JR, it's great to see you. It's good to be back on the air with everybody. Antoine where are you tonight? In D.C.
I'm in Washington, D.C., otherwise known as dysfunctional city.
Let's talk about something that has been a little dysfunctional here in South Carolina, because we've got competing rulings when it comes to mask mandates in school. Of course, as you know, late Tuesday night, a federal judge making a decision that the state budget proviso basically discriminated against those with disabilities. So saying that basically South Carolina couldn't do that. But then just today, the state Supreme Court coming out with a second ruling against a Richland County school district, saying that the state budget proviso was indeed constitutional. So you got a lot of confusion going on here, guys. Who do the parents and grandparents and the students listen to now when it comes to these mask mandates and these decisions about mask mandates?
Well, I'll tell you this, the bigger court always rules. We know that because that's just been the order of the day. But here's what the state Supreme Court, as I digested it says that school districts cannot use state funding in order to mandate a mask mandate. Well, truth be told, most district officials will tell you that they only have state funds for a certain use of money, but they get federal funds and other funds to fund the districts. So at the end of the day, school districts still have the ability, as the chair of the Senate Education Committee wrote in an opinion piece, as well as the state education agency, i.e. Molly Spearman's agency, said that the school districts still have the ability to implement some sort of mask mandate. Now, here's what the bottom line is. I think everyone is trying to get to, reasonable people at least. They want to make sure kids who are not eligible for vaccinations, that they are safe and that they're taken care of. And the way the science has explained itself to us is that one way to do that is to wear a mask. It not only protects other children in the classroom, it protects administrators like my sister down at Swanson High School, and also teachers and faculty and staff.
We've seen an increase in the number of children who have gotten coronavirus. That has been a given, and we have expected that to take place. So Antoine is right on this particular issue. What we're seeing right now is the state can constitutionally withhold those dollars, those state dollars, but that is a very small portion of the monies that a school district or a school receive, because there's a lot of federal funds that come in. So if a school district wants to turn around and split their books and to show exactly how they turn around and put together a mask mandate and did not use state funds to be able to do so, all the better for them to be able to try to do that. But the reality of it is, as Antoine said, is a mask important? Will a mask work? There have been studies that show that. There have also been other studies that show that we don't need to be having shields up in the room, because we need to allow airflow to go through the room, because we've got HEPA filters that are built in. We need to really comprehensively take a look at what needs to be done to protect our students in the classroom. And this is an important step that some districts feel they need to be doing. Not all districts across the state feel that way. And that's a place where it's going to be responsible to local control to decide how they want to turn around and work their books to make that happen.
Dave, I appreciate you saying local control, because somehow or another, some of our Republican friends want to use that argument at their own convenience. At some point in time, they'll say, oh, it should be up to local governments and local entities to decide what policies and agenda they want to implement. But when it comes to things like this, i.e. protecting our children, our most vulnerable population, you have the AG, the governor of South Carolina, and others who want to beat up on school districts and so forth for doing what school boards want to be. They want to beat up on school boards who've been elected by the people in certain areas, want to beat up on them for doing what's in the best interest of children. I'm not a father yet, Dave, but you are. You know how important our children are, and you know, as someone who's done campaigns like I have, at the end of the day, the people trust their elected officials to make decisions, whether you agree or not. I don't think it's up to the big boys to tell what could be perceived as the little boys and girls what to do.
I think the reality is, though, I think it is a parent's responsibility to do what is best for their children, and not necessarily always being a mandate. Now, what I did say was this. What I said was this. If a school district wants to put forward a mandate, they're going to have to clearly demonstrate on their books the dividing line between how I used state funds and how I used federal funds to do that. If they want to run that magic in the back room with the books and cook the books that way to make that possible because they feel it's that important and their community says it should be done, that's the school district's responsibility.
Dave, I can't let you just cruise on by me with this idea of parents having choice, because my parents did not have a choice of strapping me into a seatbelt because of my safety, i.e. wearing masks related to safety. My parents didn't have a choice if I wanted to wear something to school that did not pass the smell test according to the rules and regulations of the Lexington 4 School District. We could not do that. And so we can't conveniently pick these arguments saying, well, it should be up to parents to decide certain things, when you and I both know that our parents and you as a parent, we don't have the luxury of making decisions. If you with your kids I don't know if your kids go to public school or not, but for the kids who go to public school, their parents don't have a choice but to send them to school. If they don't, they are charged with something called truancy. There's just some things that are in place that people make decisions on, and I don't think we get to pick and choose what's in the best interest of children when we have rules and regulations in place.
Guys, I want to throw something out real quick here, Dave and Antoine. Let me just throw this out, because a number of school districts around the Midlands and around the state are asking state lawmakers to come back, do away with that state budget proviso. At this late stage in the game, here we are entering the month of October. Do you see that happening between now and the end of the year? Will lawmakers come back to take this issue up?
The lawmakers have already decided not to come. The Senate is not coming back October 12th as they were originally scheduled to do so. And I think one of the reasons that they're not doing so is because they're not wanting to address this particular issue, because when you open up Pandora's box, anything and everything can be discussed. And they were planning to come back to discuss all of the federal dollars that were going to be flowing into South Carolina and how that impacts education. Well, you open up that door, and the reality is they don't necessarily want to touch that. But going back to the other subject from what Antoine said a moment ago, folks at home, here's your responsibility. You need to talk to your school board members and let your school board members know what you think in your community. You can go to their website, you can see who they are, you can contact them and let them know what you think should be done.
I'll say this to the point about the lawmakers returning to the Capitol. Certain lawmakers do not want to return to the Capitol to deal with the reality that exists in school districts across the state. Here's what I know. There have been a bipartisan group of legislators, some in the House and some in the Senate, who want to be called. But the leadership in the Senate and the House have made a decision on their own with some guidance from some of their other colleagues on their side of the aisle, Republican-dominated General Assembly, not to come back. So what does that mean? More kids testing positive, more school districts having to shift to online learning, shutting down in-person learning, which we all agree we should be doing. People dying, including school officials. We've seen that across the state. And who knows what the long-term effects may be of kids who may get this virus. It may not impact them now, but we don't know what's going to happen 7, 8, 9 years down the road. We don't know what's going to happen a year from now. My sister, who contracted the virus early on in this stage, maybe a year and a half or so ago, she still does not have her smell back. That could be the reality for a lot of children. We just do not know yet. And we also don't know what's ahead as we get into the fall, cold and flu season, the virus mutating and coming in other forms. There are a lot of unknowns. And so the fact that lawmakers, knowing now that they made a mistake, Republican lawmakers who will not agree to come back, I think it's just an act of malpractice.
All right, we're going to have to leave the conversation there. Dave and Antoine, guys, thank you so very much for your time on this very important issue. We're going to take a quick